I ain't going to college. Wow. My name is Marlo Prelo, and this is a book that I've authored that just came out this year in 2017. I'm very excited about this piece. This book really talks about and inspires the youth to have a plan for your life after high school. It goes into a lot of different stories about things that I've gone through in my life. And I'm just here to say that if I can do it, you can certainly do it. I Ain't Going to College. It's available now on Amazon. You can also find it at www.careerbounds.org. Because I did go to college.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Encouraging Word Show. I told you we have two powerful guests today, and I promise you this one is nothing short of amazing. Again, the Encouraging Word Show, for those of you who may be just tuning in, is a show that's all about empowerment of students everywhere. Whether you're a middle school, high school, or college student, this show is for you. It's meant for you to get inspired, meant for you to get some college and career preparation tips, and understand how to reduce your college debt. Now, my guest for today is Mr. Marlo Prelo. And Marlo Prelo is nothing short of incredible. Marlo Prelo, as you'll see from the graphic that's there on the screen, is the author of this new book here, I Ain't Going to College. Now, I Ain't Going to College is a wonderful title and captures the essence of who this man is. He'll tell you how he got started and why this was his particular position and state of mind at one point in time, and how that has evolved and how he's evolved as a professional. He's worked in corporate America for a number of years, and then he was really inspired and got into his calling, his passion of education. He's been a high school teacher. He's been an enrollment manager. He's been he is now a director of admissions. So tell me, how did you go from I ain't going to college to becoming the director of admissions for the college? Tell me about that.
I know it's it's quite a outstanding story, but really, I Ain't Going to College is one of those stories that many students are still saying, and it's still resonating with a lot of people today. I said those words over and over repeatedly, as a young man and as a student. And as I was teaching high school, I didn't understand, why am I still hearing students say, I ain't going to college? I'm like, it's over 20 years later, and people are still saying the same thing. So I wanted to take some time and really focus on how can we break that myth, and dispel that rumor and move students away from thinking that college is not something that they should do, and really just focus more on educating yourself and having a plan. So as I got into higher education and moved into admissions and really started working with a number of young people as well as older people, we have a lot of older adults that are going back to college,
Right,
trying to
career changers, dislocated workers, all of that.
And people who want to finish up credits, maybe they started earlier but didn't get a chance to finish their education. So making the transition, it's definitely interesting when I look at the words and I think about what I do now. But I know that education is important. I see the power of it. Even as working in corporate America, the times that I got promoted, there were many times when I was young, African American male, moving through the ranks, and I was getting promotions and things like that, and people were going, wow, look at this guy, he's rocking and rolling, he's moving in a great direction and being promoted. And I've been here for years and years, and they didn't understand, why am I being promoted when other people were not? And part of the reason was because I not only did I educate myself, but I took the time to really take the information in, and once I got into those different positions, then I used the information, and that's really what helped propel me. So.
Awesome. So before we really delve into the book, I want to talk about you personally. So what was it that made the change? I know personally something that happened that really sparked and interested you, and also propelled you to not only become a director of admissions, but also to start your own organization. Tell me about your first college visit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I attended South Carolina State University, so shout out to those mighty Bulldogs. And, I just I didn't think it was important, but I had a mentor, someone who came into my life, around my senior year of high school.
Right.
And he said, you know, I have a trip that's going to take place next week, and I want you to be on it. And I said, well, is there going to be food on this trip? I just wanted to eat.
Food basically. And girls.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Some people are attracted to, you know, school for different reasons. So
he had to get what appealed to you, right? At that time.
That is correct. Okay. And we still have to do that to a certain extent today. You know, some of it is marketing. You know, we can talk about that, you know, here shortly. But so we went on that trip to South Carolina State, and, you know, we didn't know where we were going. We didn't know exactly what we were going to do. We just knew we were going on a trip, and there was going to be food. So we came over the hill, and we saw these big words, South Carolina State University, and we just fell apart. Oh, my God, this guy's taking us to college. You know, this is ridiculous. You know, what is this? We were playing cards, you know, in the bus, and we were taking out our shirts and ties and loosening them up and things like that.
Right.
And, you know, once we got on campus and began to see people with skin as dark as ours, with hair as curly as ours.
Right.
You know, some people, pants were sagging lower than mine. And, you know, we just realized that college kids are actually regular, normal people.
Right, and made it tangible.
It did. It just made it, we made a connection. And we felt like, you know what, if these guys are here and they're doing it, when I look at myself, I see myself in these students that are here. Absolutely. And right at that moment, the very thing that I thought was so intangible was something that, you know, I was too black, too short, too poor, couldn't afford it, wasn't college material, you know, that it just wasn't for me. In an instant, all of those insecurities were wiped away because now I'm on the campus, I'm able to see what's going on, and at that point I made the connection and I felt like, you know what, I can do it.
Right, right. So then tell me about Career Bound and how what Career Bound is, number one, and how that ties into the book. Because of course we want to touch on some of the things in the book as well. I would be remiss not to talk about the book.
Yeah, absolutely. So Career Bound is my 501c3 nonprofit organization that I founded, you know, really in the neighborhoods, you know, of West Side, Sumter, South Carolina, brought it into Charlotte. And, you know, what we do is we go into low-income middle schools, low-income high schools, and we talk to students about the education piece, and we talk to them about why it's important to not only have a plan for your life after high school, you know, whether it's, you know, working, whether it's school, you know, whether it's military, but the most important thing is when you graduate and walk across that stage, you need to have a plan for your life. Because if you don't, and you get into that idle time, that's where, you know, boys 18 to 24 start to move towards incarceration, and it starts earlier than that. But that's one of the peak moments because you're out of school, you have free time, maybe you're trying to find a job, maybe you're working at Subway, Pizza Hut, maybe you're working at a warehouse or something at night, but you begin to get into things and you start moving around. So that's one of those critical points. So I really wanted to focus on, you know, what can I do to reach back in the community and really help people understand that when I walk, I want to go right from A to B and really, you know, get into whatever it is that I want to do. So that's why I started the organization, and that's what we do. You know, we do some road mapping, and we try to set students up so that they know, hey, I have a plan, and this is what I'm doing. And it changes, you know, it ebbs and flows. What you start with doesn't have to be the exact same thing that you finish with. Absolutely. But at least, you know, having a plan that changes is a good thing as well because you still have a plan.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's no crime in, what is it? There's a quote that I really, really like, and it says, "It's no crime in not reaching for a star. The crime or the issue is having no star to reach for." So, for example, if you don't have a game plan at all, that's really going to be critical to your success, whether or not you have a plan. Now, your plan, as you mentioned, could shift, evolve, it could change, it could grow, it could expand, but having a plan of some sort is critical. So is that what you talk about a lot in the book, is having a plan?
Yeah, the book definitely focuses a lot on, you know, really understanding. In the 9th grade, I want to focus on grades, academia, striving for a certain GPA, getting involved in clubs and organizations. And from 9th grade to 12th grade, each year you should be progressing. Your knowledge should be progressing, but you should also be stacking up those intangibles, doing things outside of the school to build your resume so that when you get to your senior year, unlike myself, who was a person who never took Algebra 1, never took geometry, the chemistries and the maths and the sciences, I floated right below the radar, took just enough classes to have credits, so that I could graduate. So when I did figure out, okay, maybe the college thing is going to work, maybe for me it's real, now I'm unprepared. So everybody's saying, well, you're unprepared, right? Well, yeah, what else can I do, at this point? But guess what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find a way, and I'm going to make it happen. And, and that's what I did in those last 6 months. So it was just a huge push, really starting in January.
To get on track.
I figured out, what I wanted to do. So I said, you know what? There's no way people that know me are going to come behind me going to experience the same thing. So I'm going to do everything I can, try to get the information out so that there is a roadmap and system of some sort so that you can look at it and say, oh, okay, I can follow these steps and kind of position myself so that I can do what I need to do.
Excellent, excellent. And I think that's very valuable knowledge that you're sharing, because somebody watching at home is looking at this and thinking the very same thing that you thought when you stepped on that campus. When you stepped on that campus, you said, I see somebody that looks like me. You thought, if he can do it, I can do it. Somebody out there watching is thinking the very same thing about you. They're like, wow, okay, I didn't maybe have the best grades, but you mean I can pull it together and I can move up to the next level? I can actually graduate from college? For some people, because to me, it seems like a given that so many people are going to college now. Everybody and their mama has been to school, it seems like. But at the end of the day, for each one of those people that have been, there's thousands of others that are still out there that maybe have it in their hearts and in their minds and in their spirit that they can't go for whatever reason. So I think what you've said is very powerful. I think what you've said is very inspiring. And I know you've encouraged someone out there that's watching today. So before we wrap up again, where can we get that book?
Yeah, the book is definitely available at Amazon.com. You can also visit my website, which is careerbounds.org. There's ordering information there. Group orders, bulk orders are encouraged, as well as, individual sales.
Okay. So with bulk orders, that means those schools that are maybe interested in buying for their middle school or their high school, definitely there's special pricing available.
Oh, absolutely. We've had some schools come on board. Today I was just in Rock Hill at Dutchman Creek Middle School, who just placed a very nice order with us. And definitely shout out to you guys, Dr. Williams, the principal there. So we're coming along, and we certainly appreciate it.
Excellent, excellent. So again, I thank you for watching the Encouraging Word Show. It's always great for you to watch, and I appreciate you listening. Make sure that you like the Facebook page for Encouraging Words. Make sure you share this if you've enjoyed some of the tips that were shared here today. And I want to leave out actually with two quotes. One of my favorite quotes is a quote that I actually used to have on my website. I don't have it up there anymore, but it's actually relevant to today's topic of focusing on African American men, and it's by Victor Hugo. It's, "He that opens a school door closes a prison." The other quote that I want to leave you with, or affirmation, if you will, is one of my favorites, and I learned it as a high school teen, and I think it captivates and resonates with me so well because it's how I feel about a lot of the young people that I encounter, and it goes like this: "You are great. You are a unique new kind of person that the world has never seen before and will never see the likes of again. You're organized. You're a hard worker. You're enthusiastic. You are a child of God. And blessed as you are with all these things, all those talents, all those gifts, there isn't a thing in the world that you can't do. With God as your partner, you will never fail." Thanks for watching the Encouraging Words Show. Make sure you tune in each Thursday to the Encouraging Words page.